Hello everyone, and welcome to Box Office Receipts. I'm your host Tyler Callahan, and it was a bit of a quiet week with it being 4th of July, but we still got box office numbers, we still got some news, so let's jump right into it with the domestic top 5. For the domestic box office, Inside Out 2 stayed in first place with $57.4 million for a total of $469.3 million. Opening in second place was A Quiet Place Day 1 with $53 million. Third place was Horizon: An American Saga Chapter 1 with $11 million. In fourth place was Bad Boys: Ride or Die with another $10.3 million for a total of $165.2 million. And in fifth place was Kalki 289880 with $5.4 million for a total of $10.9 million. Inside Out 2 continues to dominate, and depending on how Deadpool and Wolverine does, it'll be the movie of the summer. But let's talk about the new releases. Paramount had a great weekend thanks to A Quiet Place Day 1. While it just barely lost out on first place, it did open bigger than the first two movies for the franchise. So for Paramount, this is a horror franchise they have that has continued to stay popular. And if John Krasinski is working on A Quiet Place Part 3, well, there will definitely be some hype for it. Again, this was a spin-off movie and now has the franchise's best opening. Warner Brothers continues to not have a good summer. This continued with Horizon. Now for them, this was more of a distribution deal. They didn't produce the movie. This was Kevin Costner who did a lot of the funding for it. They're just distributing it for him. But to be fair, I take it he's not happy either with this opening. So what happened? Well, first off, the huge Yellowstone crowd did not come out in droves to watch it, aka older people. On top of that, reviews aren't great with a Rotten Tomatoes score of 49%, and from people who have watched it, well, reception isn't that good, with the main complaint being it very much feels like a Part 1 movie, which makes sense as Part 2 will be out soon. But they might not go back to the theater to watch it. And Bad Boys: Ride or Die continues to march its way to $200 million domestic. Hopefully it can. In China, Moments We Shared stayed in first place with $13.7 million for a total of $49.5 million. In second place was a new thriller called Customs Frontline with an opening of $10.2 million. Third place was A Quiet Place Day 1, which opened to $9.8 million. Fourth place was Inside Out 2 with another $8.7 million for a total of $23.9 million. And in fifth place was Life Hotel, which opened to $2.4 million, and with previews is now at $5.9 million. At the international box office, A Quiet Place Day 1 earned $45.5 million for a worldwide opening weekend of $98.5 million. Inside Out 2 earned another $108 million, and with that has passed $1 billion, now at $1.01 billion worldwide. And it's also our first billion-dollar movie of the year as well. Bad Boys: Ride or Die made $13.1 million for a worldwide total of $332 million, and Despicable Me 4 continues its international rollout, earning $13.9 million for an international total of $25.3 million. Yeah, you'd think this would be a quiet week with the 4th of July and all, but nope. Out of nowhere, the Wall Street Journal broke the news that Skydance has reached a deal with Sherry Redstone for National Amusements. This would give Skydance control of Paramount, and now the deal is being reviewed by the special board over at Paramount. As for some of the terms, there is a 45-day go-shop period where Paramount and National Amusements can take a look and see if anyone else wants to match Skydance's bid. Besides that, Skydance will buy National Amusements for $1.75 billion, and Redstone does gain additional protection from possible shareholder lawsuits. This was a sticking point here. So yeah, in another twist, assuming it is a smooth landing, which in this case seems to be asking for a lot, things will take time, but it should be done. Unless Sony and Apollo really want to try again, as long as Paramount's special board signs off, then we are moving forward with Skydance being the new owners, which for me personally was my preferred choice. Again, with everything that has gone on, there really needs to be a show or a series about this. A lot of twists and turns. In the middle of this, it was also reported that Paramount is also in talks to sell BET. Bloomberg reports that they are in exclusive talks with BET CEO Scott Mills and Jin Chu, who is the founder of the private equity firm CC Capital. I feel like the sale will happen eventually because if the Skydance deal goes through. I take it they'd want to reevaluate what is most important going forward for them, and they might sell off BET to pay off some of the debt. Apple Original Films announced this week the title of the upcoming Formula One film starring Brad Pitt. and Damson Idris, and it's called F1. Yeah, not the most unique title, but calling it that gets the point across real quick. Along with that, they released a teaser poster and a teaser trailer is set to come out. And you don't really hear about this that often, but how about planning to remake a film before the original's out? So 8711 Entertainment is set to do an English language remake of Kill, and Kill is an Indian action movie set to come out later this month. At Lionsgate, they have set a release date for Now You See Me 3, which is set to come out November 14th, 2025. At Anime Expo, it was announced that the fourth My Hero Academia film will be hitting theaters in October, called My Hero Academia You're Next. It'll premiere on October 11th, and noticeably, Crunchyroll is not distributing. Instead, Toho will be doing it themselves, like with Godzilla Minus One, through Toho International. Ahead of the fall season, Beetlejuice will have its world premiere at the Venice Film Festival on August 28th. This will be ahead of its wide release on September 6th. In an exclusive from Deadline, they broke the news that Molly Shannon has signed on to star in Balls Up. This is the action comedy from Amazon MGM Studios and Skydance that stars Mark Wahlberg and Paul Walter Hauser. Disney has honored CEO Bob Iger with a 50-year service award. The company is recognizing his work at ABC before Disney bought it. He started there back in 1974 as a production assistant. Sadly, there were some deaths this week. John Landau has died at the age of 63 due to cancer. He was a producer and the COO of Lightstorm Entertainment, James Cameron's production company. Landau, as a producer, worked with Cameron on a lot of his films, including Titanic and Avatar. Here's what Cameron had to say in a statement. Quote, "His legacy is not just the films he produced, but the personal example he set. Indomitable, caring, inclusive, tireless, insightful, and utterly unique. He produced great films not by wielding power, but by spreading warmth and the joy of making cinema. He inspired us all to be and to bring our best every day. I have lost a dear friend and my closest collaborator of 31 years. Part of myself has been torn away." End quote. Leonardo DiCaprio also released a statement about Landau's passing. Quote, "John was an incredibly kind, wise, and empathetic soul who wanted to create nothing but a positive impact on anyone or anything approached. His legacy and leadership will live on forever." End quote. Judy Belushi-Pisano has died at the age of 73 due to cancer. She was previously married to John Belushi, an actor and comedian who was one of the Blues Brothers before he died back in 1982. Pisano was a producer on many Blues Brothers-related projects and was also involved in Belushi, a documentary about the actor from Showtime that came out back in 2020. Robert Towne has died at the age of 89. He was a screenwriter who worked on numerous films and shows, including Chinatown, The Two Jakes, Days of Thunder, and Mission Impossible, among others. And for Chinatown, he also won an Academy Award for his screenplay. And Mike Heslin has died at the age of 30 due to a sudden cardiac event. The actor appeared in a few different shows and films, including Lioness, The Influencers, and The Holiday Proposal Plan. Thoughts and prayers go out to their families during this time, and may they rest in peace. As always, fuck cancer. As for trailers this week, from Sony, we got Afraid. This is a horror movie made between Columbia Pictures and Blumhouse, starring John Cho and Catherine Waterston. It was previously titled They Listen. Comes out August 30th. And Lionsgate released a trailer for The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. The comedy starring Judy Greer and Pete Holmes comes out on November 8th. They also released a trailer and set a release date for 1992. The action crime thriller is one of Ray Liotta's final performances and also stars Tyrese Gibson. It comes out August 30th. We start off VOD Premium with Netflix, where the second season of One Piece has started filming. In an exclusive from Deadline, Netflix looks to have closed the deal and bought the film package RIP or RIP, not sure how they want to pronounce it. This is the crime thriller that will be directed by Cho Carnahan and stars Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. I'm looking forward to this one. And a new limited series is in development called Sirens. It comes from Molly Smith Metzler and is based on her play Il Marino P. As for who will star in it, well, that includes Julianne Moore, Millie Alcock, and Megan Faye. The streamer released a trailer for part 1 of the final season of Cobra Kai. And in the first, this season will be split not in 2, but in 3 parts, each with 5 episodes. Part 1 comes out July 18th. Over at Prime Video, they have canceled Outer Range after 2 seasons. The sci-fi western, starring Josh Brolin, premiered back in 2022. They also released a trailer for the upcoming movie Jackpot. Coming from Amazon MGM Studios, the action comedy stars Awkwafina, John Cena, and Simu Liu. It comes out on August 15th. And Variety reports that Blade Runner 2099 has started production with filming beginning in Prague. Jeremy Irons has signed on for the upcoming 4th season of the morning show at Apple TV+. He will play the role of Martin Levy, the father of Jennifer Aniston's character Alex Levy. Tubi has finally launched in the UK. We talked a bit about their build-up to it throughout the year. As for the launch, it debuted with 20,000 movies and TV episodes from companies including Disney, Sony, Universal, and Lionsgate. Besides the US and the UK, Tubi is also available in some other countries, including Canada, Australia, Mexico, Ecuador, and New Zealand. We got the Nielsen Top 10 for the week of May 27th to June 2nd. For the overall Top 10, Bridgerton stayed in first place with 1.38 billion minutes. Bluey came in second with 1.2 billion minutes, and Grey's Anatomy came in third with 1.19 billion minutes. Also worth noting that Atlas came in fourth place with 1 billion minutes watched. That is the Netflix sci-fi movie starring Jennifer Lopez. Disney released some numbers on the third season of The Bear, and in its first 4 days, it got 5.4 million views. This makes it the best premiere for an FX show, and the third best premiere ever on Hulu. I should note that the numbers do include Hulu and Disney+. CNBC and Variety are both reporting that Warner Brothers Discovery is showing interest in a possible joint venture with Paramount, with them combining both Max and Paramount+. Now, this is still fairly early in the process, and we probably won't see any results from it until the Skydance deal is done. And this might be because, look, they might have different plans for Paramount+. We're not sure what they want to do. But if this was to happen, it would become a major streaming service, at least domestically. It'd be pretty big. In exclusive from Variety, they report that the Arkham Asylum show set for Max is no longer happening. So as of now, we got the Penguin coming in September, and then we wait for the Batman Part 2. And HBO released a trailer for the upcoming third season of Industry, with Kit Harington having joined the cast as a green energy CEO looking to take his company public. The show comes back on August 11th. Personally, I've enjoyed watching it, so I can't wait. And that is it for this episode of Box Office Receipts. If you want to follow me on Threads, X, or Instagram, links to those are in the show notes. Thank you for listening, and see you next time.